All right, and then I'm going to now share my screen to start the presentation. So hopefully this goes through. All right, oh, give me 1 second. I'm just going to fix something real quick and then begin the presentation. Oh, the technical difficulties. Oh, wait, one more thing. All right, so we are good to go. Okay. And we should be good to go now. So this is a quick video on NYU and what NYU has to offer as well. And hopefully I'll be able to share the audio as well. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to be sharing the sound. So what you hear from the video should be coming through your speakers now. So without further ado, let's play the video.
Hey, my name is Andre. I'm from Gary, Indiana. I'm a senior here at NYU studying business management.
Hi, my name is Paulette. I am from the Bronx and I'm a freshman at NYU College of Arts and Science.
Hi, I'm Pilar. I'm a senior at NYU, majoring in public health on the pre-med track and originally from Honolulu, Hawaii.
My name is Noor and I'm a junior here at NYU studying finance and economics.
My name is Mariah. I'm a junior here at NYU and I am a nursing major.
It was a really big decision for me. A lot of my friends went to a state school not too far away from home. I'm from New Jersey, and it was very tempting for me to just sort of go with them because first of all, it was cheaper. Second of all my friends were going.
It was a huge difference, much faster paced city, but once you have, a core group of people that you can go to, and once you get into a certain routine, I think that the adjustment is very doable.
It was a big challenge for me coming from Gary, Indiana, where things are completely different. I wasn't totally used to public transit because I drive at home. There were so many different things that I had to learn and had to experience before I could say, oh, okay, this is the place for me.
In the Bronx, I was in a bubble, in such a bubble. And I thought, this is the world, this is how it is going to be. And when I came here, it was just, NYU just literally took a pin and popped.
So I came from a small high school. I actually went to a Muslim private high school, very small graduating class of 23 students. So coming to NYU, a very big school relative to sort of the environment that I'm coming from.
My high school was very small. I went to an all-girls private Catholic school in the heart of Honolulu, and I was actually looking for a big change. Knowing that I wanted to pursue a public health degree, NYU had academic rigor I wanted to pursue.
So when I was looking at schools, I was looking at not only the school, but the things that surround the school.
I think, the first word that just came to my mind when I'm trying to define an NYU student is busy.
And I haven't met an idle NYU student.
I actually, my first semester, freshman year, was able to travel to Greece.
We're going to Shanghai, we're going to Abu Dhabi, they're coming here. They're telling us about their experiences, we're telling them about ours. It's like you have the world in one campus. That's the best way I can explain it, is you have the world in New York City. And that's how diverse it is. You have taken every country and you just placed it into Greenwich Village.
There's so many different opportunities. There's so many clubs and organizations on campus that cater to literally anybody.
So I would say definitely, like, my suggestion to incoming students or students who might be interested at NYU is to come in with a mindset of exploration and just being accustomed to completely new things. Like living away from home is definitely something that many people who, from my background, for example, aren't used to. Living independently, but also tapping into a social culture and forming a group of friends that can support you through difficult times, because freshman year is difficult and college isn't really an easy feat.
I started working at the Center for Multicultural Education and Programs. I started working with Wasserman on their Diversity Advisory Board. Again, kind of creating these programs and opportunities for students to feel like, I'm not alone. And even as an RA or resident assistant right now, I've tried to diversify my programs to have these multiple perspectives, so I'm not the only person in the room saying, like, hey, you know, I'm this, that, and the other race, ethnicity, or I'm multiracial, biracial, you should listen to me. It's more of how do I create a dialogue and how do I learn from other people and explore what that means in the context of New York City and NYU and what this amazing school has to offer.
I began to find my niche here at NYU and find some people that shared some of the interests that I had.
I definitely feel like me as a go-getter and wanting to explore and experience new things, and also just the program of study that I chose, I definitely felt like I had to go out there and meet people and talk to as many people as I can, and I think that's one of the best advice I received even just from family members, to not kind of isolate myself, and there's definitely niche communities here at NYU that you can, you know, become involved in.
My biggest advice to anyone who is considering NYU for their university is to just say yes, because especially in your freshman year, because you never know who you'll find at these different events or the different things that you would learn that you didn't necessarily know before. There's something there that has value that you should get all of it.
Right, awesome. So we're going to get started with the presentation right now. So basically what NYU is at the moment is we like to refer to ourselves as a campus without walls, a campus without borders, because we really are a school that likes to expand the minds of not only just ourselves and the students, but also expand the minds of the world as well. We embody this through the community of New York City as well. When the school was founded in 1831 by a gentleman by the name of Albert Gallatin, who wanted to expand university and college access to those who it really wasn't meant for. So he wanted to make sure that he expanded the right of education for every single human being who wanted to pursue an education past secondary school, past high school as well. So he created New York University for the purpose of making sure that everyone has the right to an equal education, while making sure that everyone has a space to express themselves, but also learn from each other as well. It's truly grown into a school without borders and a school with many opportunities for many of its students here as well. And we have still kept the spirit of Albert Gallatin alive to this very day. So we are a campus without walls, and this may be also in the physical sense, but also in the literal sense, as well as the metaphorical sense as well. We really are a campus where anything is possible for our students as well. So this is a map of all of the campuses that we do have abroad. When I say that we are a campus without walls and borders, we are truly a campus without walls and borders. And if you notice on the map, yes, we do have a campus out in Accra, Ghana as well. I believe Ernest is probably celebrating with his students at the moment. But yes, we do have a campus out in Accra, Ghana. It's one of our satellite campuses for students to study abroad at. But our three main campuses are New York City, Abu Dhabi, and Shanghai. So these are the 3 degree granting campuses. These are campuses that you can go to in order to have a degree, in order to obtain a full 4-year degree. But on top of this, on top of these 3 campuses, we also have satellite campuses where students can study for a semester or more as well. We have a campus in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Buenos Aires, again, Accra, Ghana, Madrid, Spain, Paris, France, London, England, Berlin, Germany, Prague, Czech Republic, Florence, Italy, Tel Aviv, and Sydney, Australia as well. Sydney holds a special place in my heart because when I was a student at NYU, yes, I did go here. I graduated in 2015. When I did go here, I actually did study abroad in Sydney, Australia. It was the greatest 4 months of my life. I highly encourage every single one of you to study abroad as soon as possible and as much as possible when given the opportunity, especially here at NYU, when your tuition and financial aid does travel with you as well. Another thing to note is that sometimes students are worried about, oh my goodness, if I select Abu Dhabi, or Shanghai as like my main campus, I won't be able to go to New York City. Actually, if you study at Abu Dhabi or Shanghai, you get to spend 1 year in the New York City campus as well. So you still get to spend time in New York City, learning more about the New York City culture, taking classes, and getting one step closer to your degree as well, while learning about the city where New York University was founded as well. So it's definitely an opportunity here. But again, we are a campus without walls and a campus without borders as well. So let's talk about the New York City campus for a bit. So the NYU New York City campus has about 29,700 undergraduate students here at NYU, with 135 countries represented and 10 undergraduate schools and colleges for students to study at, with over 180 different programs that you can create, 180 programs that you can study for yourself. And if there's a program that isn't the right fit for you per se, we also have a school, the Gallatin School of Individualized Study, where you can create your own major, create your own field, and carve your own way as well, with the help of an academic advisor as well. NYU is also the school with the most international students in the United States of America. And we really do pride ourselves on that, because New York City prides itself on being the most diverse city, not just in the United States, but in the world as well. And we at NYU embody that by having such a large international population, that more international students come here than any other college in the United States. We also have many fields for many students here, everything ranging from the English major to engineering. We even have a whole school dedicated to engineering, which is the Tandon School of Engineering. We have math, science, business, which is the Stern School of Business as well. We have many different majors for many different students here, and we want to make sure that everyone has a chance to be well represented, but also study what they want to study here as well. This is a major reason for why NYU is successful today, in the sense that we want to make sure that all of our students are able to succeed, but learn also not only inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom from the fellow students, from the fellow peers, from the fellow professors as well. So it's definitely a huge number, but also you are going to learn from a lot of different people. Also, something that was touched upon in the video was that, yes, that number may be big, 29,700, but a lot of the students actually tend to find their own niche here at NYU and find their own group of people here at NYU, where they can actually find different groups that they form with, the multicultural associations that are available from different interests, like either anime, which is like Japanese cartoons, or different food groups as well. You name it, there's pretty much an interest for it. Not to mention the class sizes are actually pretty small as well. They're somewhere in the teens as well. So it's definitely like, it may be 29,700, but that number gets a lot smaller once you find your footing and once you arrive here at NYU. So this is a little bit more information about our campus in New York City and how it is split up. So within our campuses, we have 2 sub-campuses here as well in New York City. The first one is the Greenwich Village campus, which is the one with the white arch that is located in the Greenwich Village in Manhattan. It is kind of like an old school city. It's kind of like an old school city a little bit, with cobblestone streets, some housing from like the 1800s, also an international language house as well, where there's different houses of different languages on one street that is operated by New York University as well. It's basically kind of like the old school New York City area. It's the historic part of New York City. Whereas in the Brooklyn campus, where you see that little red triangle over there, that is the Tandon School of Engineering, but that is also our Brooklyn sub-campus as well. So that is the more an up and coming part of New York City. That is where all of the technology pretty much occurs, all of the tech ideas. It's pretty much a very up and coming part of New York City, but also it's an up and coming part of New York University as well. So we do have the Tandon School of Engineering there, but we also have software development that's located there, video game designs. I took a video game design course at the Brooklyn campus as well, and designed my own video game, as well as learned about the history of video games as well. So it's basically like technologically focused. So you have the best of both worlds here at the New York City campus, where you have a little bit of that historic feel while also taking a glimpse into the future as well. So remember when I said that we had 2 additional degree granting campuses in Abu Dhabi and Shanghai? So this is going to be a little bit more information about both of those campuses. So I will touch on the Abu Dhabi campus first. So the Abu Dhabi campus has about 1,300 undergraduate students with over 100 countries represented. So Abu Dhabi is kind of like our, we like to call it like our United Nations campus, in that so many cultures, so many countries, so many languages are represented here at the Abu Dhabi campus as well. The Emirati government loves the NYU campus. They love to have students come over to NYU, especially to the Abu Dhabi campus as well, to the point where unfortunately, unlike the United States government, where there's restrictions on financial aid, the Emirati government actually likes to give a lot of financial aid to the students of NYU Abu Dhabi as well. In addition, there are 12 Rhodes Scholars that were produced at the Abu Dhabi campus alone in just the last 6 years as well. So again, it's going to be a big learning hub, a big learning environment. But the one thing about the Abu Dhabi campus is that the professors really like to work with you and make sure that you follow your passion while making sure that you kind of create your own path and create your own way as well. They're really going to work with you to make sure that you get whatever project, whatever assignment, or whatever dream that you have. They really work hard to make sure that it will be accomplished by any means. And then we're going to shift over to the Shanghai campus. So the Shanghai campus has about 1,200 undergraduate students with about a 50-50 split. So 50% of the students are of Chinese descent, and the other 50% of the student body is from the international student body. The one cool thing to note is that when it comes to rooming at the NYU Shanghai campus, your roommate is going to be the complete opposite of you when it comes to geographical origin. So if you are a student, so all of you are from Africa, which means that more than likely you are going to be paired with the student from China. So that way, again, you can learn from each other, learn from each other's cultures, but also have that transition process to get to know each other, but as well as the city too, the city of Shanghai and the country of China as well. And 100% of the students who go to the NYU Shanghai campus actually graduate with full Mandarin proficiency. So you are going to graduate with not just 1, but 2 bachelor's degrees from the NYU Shanghai campus. You are going to graduate with a bachelor's degree from NYU, which is New York University, and also another bachelor's degree from the Chinese government that it certifies you to speak fluent Mandarin. And you don't have to speak a single lick, like a single word or know a single letter of Mandarin in order to qualify for NYU Shanghai. There have been students who didn't even know a single word or how to write a single character in Mandarin. Then they go to NYU Shanghai's campus and they graduate with full fluency, which is a necessity, especially in the business world where Mandarin is known like one of the biggest languages in the business world as well. So the one thing I will note about the Shanghai campus is that Nigerian students are not eligible for NYU Shanghai due to some visa overlay issues. But other than that, anybody else can apply to the Shanghai campus. And there is no restriction on, there's no geographical restriction on applying to the NYU Abu Dhabi campus as well. So that's just something to note for the students. So you're interested in NYU and you want to apply to NYU. What are the necessary steps in order for your application to be considered? The first step would be to submit the common application. The common application is one application that you can submit to multiple schools where you don't have to type your information over and over and over again. NYU is on the Common Application. So you can go to the Common Application and submit your application. The application for the fall 2022 session is closed, but fall 2023 will open up around August 1st. So August 1st is when the application period will open up again for fall 2023. How it works is you would choose your schools, your colleges, and your campuses of interest. So you would choose whether you want to be at the Stern School of Business or College of Arts and Science. If you want to go, if you want your primary campus to be NYU New York, NYU Abu Dhabi, NYU Shanghai, you know, whichever campus you really are interested in, that's where you would select which one you would want to, which one you would like to select. If you really are interested in any of the three, you can feel free to select all three if you would like to. It definitely depends on what you're interested in, but you can select all three, but you will be evaluated based on your preference. So whatever your first preference is, you will get full consideration for that first preference before they move you to your second preference. And then after your second preference, then they're going to move you to your third preference if that's the case as well. So you choose your order of which campus you really want to go to first and foremost. After that, you can include your transcripts, test scores, and letters of recommendation as well. Your transcript, which is basically your school report of all the grades that you have received in the past. Your transcripts have all of your grades. They can only be sent from the school directly. The students cannot send these documents. So you would have to have a school official send these documents in, and it will have to be either by email, which they can send to us directly at admissions@nyu.edu, which I would type in the chat afterwards, or they can mail it to us as well. But we always recommend just having the school officials email it to us because it is a lot faster, but it also guarantees that we can get it as well. And yes, the school officials can make a photocopy, a legible photocopy of the transcript and send that version to us as well. And then we'll be able to accept that as an official document. Test scores, we are SAT optional, ACT optional as well. So if you've taken the exam, if you've taken either exam and you feel that none of the exams really speak to your abilities, like they weren't as high as you wanted it to be, what you can do is choose not to submit your SAT or ACT score, and it won't count against you. So if you want to submit it, that's fine. If you feel that it is high enough, you can submit it. If you feel that it is not as high, then you can feel free to not submit it as well. Letters of recommendation. So we require 2 letters of recommendation. One has to be from a teacher. It could be current or present. And another one would have to come from a high school counselor or anybody who can speak to your abilities from the administrative standpoint. So we could be the headmaster, assistant headmaster, principal, vice principal. It could be your counselor, like your counselor is the most recommended out of the group, but you know, anybody from that regards can step in as the second letter of recommendation. Some programs are going to require a portfolio or audition. These are programs that are mostly located in the arts. So if you are interested in acting, theater, film production, film and television, film production, if you're interested in the music programs, these are programs that are going to require a portfolio or an audition, depending on the program. And more of this information is available on the website, but it's also going to be in the application as well. I will say that the auditions and portfolios are accepted online. So you do not have to go to any one of our campuses to submit the portfolio or submit the audition. You can just record the video of yourself or, you know, submit the portfolio online and we will get it. And we will get it without you having to fly thousands and thousands and thousands of miles to any one of our campuses. So these are the requirements to be considered for financial aid and scholarship consideration. If you are an American citizen, if you hold a United States passport, or if you are a permanent resident of the United States, which means you have a green card or a permanent residency card, you are eligible for what is called the FAFSA form, which is the free application for federal student aid. Non-residents of the United States are not eligible for this, but this means that you can get funding from the federal government to help fund your education at New York University on the New York City campus. NYU Abu Dhabi and NYU Shanghai have completely different processes for financial aid as well. But the main thing is to fill out the FAFSA if you are an American citizen or if you hold United States permanent residency. Do one form that I highly recommend for any and everybody, even if you are not an American citizen or permanent resident, is to fill out what is called the CSS/financial aid profile. So if you Google CSS/financial aid profile, you can click on the first link and it will take you to the form that you can fill out where we at NYU can establish how much aid you would need. So we highly recommend that if you need any type of funding, to please submit the CSS and financial aid profile first and foremost. And if you are an American citizen or an American permanent resident, to fill out the FAFSA form as well. As a reminder, there are 3 types of financial aid that are available to students. There is what's called grants, which is basically any scholarship money or any financial aid money that you do not have to pay back. That is your money to keep. There are also loans where we give you money, or the United States gives you money, and the money has to be paid back by you, but usually you don't have to start paying it back until 6 months after graduation. That's when the first payment is due, and yes, there are payment plans. You do not have to pay everything all at once. And last but not least is something called work study. So this is where you get to work on our campus here at New York University in one of our offices, and you can use that to help fund part of your education as well. So there's 3 types of financial aid here, but I highly recommend for everyone in here to fill out the CSS/financial aid profile, and for the American permanent residents or American citizens to fill out the FAFSA form as well. So these are some of the numbers behind our student success. We have a center that's called the Wasserman Center for Career Development, where students can go to help find a job, edit their resume or CV, create a cover letter, anything along the lines of professional development. We have a whole center dedicated to it as well. And it speaks volumes to the success of our students here. So let's start at the top. 60% of our students secured a job before graduation. And this is talking about anywhere from junior year to senior year, basically your 3rd or 4th year of college. Here at NYU, 60% of the students have already had a job offer ready to go right after they graduate. 93% of our students participated in at least one internship or job before graduating. Again, this speaks to our professional development. We really want our students to have experience in their field as well. And when you're going into these offices and departments, you are not going to go into these offices to make copies or get coffee or just sit there and do nothing or take notes. You are going to be actually working in these fields directly. And we have contracts with these companies to make sure that the students who are working in these companies as part of the internships are getting the valuable experience that they need to make sure that they can develop professionally as well. So that is definitely something to look out for any of the students who are interested. And some of the companies that are available that the students have gotten jobs at and interned at are in the background as well. And there are some prominent ones as well, such as MTV, the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, Google, HBO is one of our biggest partners when it comes to like media partners who like to recruit from NYU. That's just something to look out for as well. Last but not least, 92% of the students were employed or enrolled in graduate school within 6 months of graduation. Again, this speaks volumes to our students that our students are highly wanted by people in these fields as well. We really prepare our students both inside the classroom as well as outside the classroom professionally as well to succeed in their respective fields. Something else to note is that for any of the entrepreneurs here, which from my conversations with SIA-Africa there are a lot of students who are interested in entrepreneurship or creating their own business or anything along the lines. We have something called the Leslie E-Lab, where it is basically a section of NYU that helps to get young entrepreneurs start their own business through startups. Many of them are in the business and tech fields as well. So we help you provide funding, come up with a business plan to make sure that you can change the world for the better on your own terms or in your own way as well. So we even have a separate center that's separate from the Wasserman Center for Career Development called the Leslie E-Lab, where you can create your own business or create your own tech startup to help make a change. And most of the programs that are created in the Leslie E-Lab are basically either built as a nonprofit organization or built as a foundation to help better the environment around the person who created it, their hometown. So it's definitely something to look out for, but we want to make sure that you develop professionally, and we will make sure to help you in every step of the way. So that is it for the presentation. So for now, I will be answering any questions in the questions and answer tab. If you typed it in the chat, I will try to get to it, but if you did type it in the chat, please throw the question in the question and answers tab, and then I'll be able to answer it as well. So let's start off with a few questions here. So first question that I see is wanted to know more about financial aid. The NYU campus in New York is not able to meet 100% of demonstrated need for international students. That is only available in Abu Dhabi. So what is the information about this? Actually, in the past year, last year, we actually set a new mark in which we met 100% of demonstrated need for our students here at NYU. And this is not a guarantee for every single year, but this is the start of something big, which is why I always say, fill out that CSS/NYU/financial aid profile, as well as if you are an American citizen, to submit the FAFSA form as well. So if you, the earlier you submit it, the earlier you submit it, the better it is for you. So we always recommend for the students to please, please, please submit those forms as soon as possible when it comes to financial aid. Our financial aid department here in New York City works with each and every single type of student to make sure that we can provide the best amount, the best and the highest amount of aid possible to our students as well. But we can't do that if we don't have at least the CSS/financial aid profile. So please, if you are not an American citizen and you need financial help, please submit the CSS profile at the CSS/financial aid profile. And if you are an American citizen, submit the CSS profile as well as the FAFSA form as well, because that will increase your chances of getting as much aid as possible. Again, not a guarantee, but the more chances you take and the more forms you use to apply, again, the better your chances of being part of that 100% of demonstrated need. So another question, if there are any scholarships one can apply to, and you had a first class from the University of Ghana. That is a good question. This is where the CSS profile does come in handy again, but there are also applications, there are also websites, one of the more prominent websites that has like a list of scholarships that you can apply to, all of them for free. It's called FastWeb, FASTWEB. So fastweb.com has a list of all of the scholarships that are available to the students, to any students who have applied. Again, not guaranteed, but it does help you to make sure that you can get your as much funding as possible. All right, graduate in November 22 from my undergraduate program, and can I apply to NYU? Yes, you can still apply. Although if you're applying from undergraduate, you may probably, the best field track for you probably would be the graduate school. I don't have much information on the graduate school because that is a different department in a different office. But if you are interested in a second undergraduate degree here at NYU, yes, you can feel free to apply. You would apply as a transfer student as well. So you wouldn't be a first year undergrad student, you would be a transfer student. A transfer student is basically any student who has taken college coursework at any university after graduating from secondary school. So if you have taken a college or university course after graduating from secondary school, you are considered a transfer student, just to let you know. All right. Yes, to answer the next question, yes, we do accept transfer students as well. Again, the application will open up on August 1st. We do offer postgraduate programs as well. We have master's degree programs as well as doctorate degree programs as well. A list of that is available online. And again, it's not necessarily the undergraduate admissions department, but we do offer postgraduate programs as well. I'm sorry if I can't speak to it, but I'm sorry I can't speak much to it because it is a different department. But to answer your question, yes, we do offer postgraduate programs. Do you have an age limit for admissions? That is an excellent question. We do not. In my graduating year, when I graduated in 2015, the oldest person who graduated is usually like a torch passing. They haven't done it since COVID started, unfortunately, but there was like a torch passing where it was either the youngest graduating student passed it to the oldest graduating student, or the oldest graduating student passed it to the youngest graduating student. But the oldest person in my class, I think, was like 87 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere up there in age. So there is no age limit for applying to NYU. It's, you know, at any age, there is no age limit as applying to NYU. So if you feel like you are up there in age, trust me, we probably have a student older than you. Again, we do have graduate programs like master's and PhD programs available here. NYC is open not only just for undergraduate studies, we also have graduate and PhD studies here as well. I will note that the Shanghai and Abu Dhabi's campuses don't really have much for graduate studies. So graduate studies is basically based here in the New York City campus. So the whole, another great question is, how long does the admissions process usually take? So the admissions process, it depends on the time that you do tend to apply. So it can take anywhere from about 4 to 6 months. Students start to hear, depending on how they apply, whether it's early decision 1, early decision 2, which both are binding, by the way. So if you're accepted, you basically confirm that you are going if accepted, as well as regular decision. So you can get a decision anywhere from about 4 to 6 months. That's how long the process usually takes. But the sooner you get all of your materials in, the better it is for you as well. So, yes, unfortunately, it's a separate. So undergraduate admissions has a different department from graduate admissions. So if you're interested in graduate admissions, what I would recommend is to, I would say just go to our NYU website, nyu.edu, go to hover over the admission section, and there should be something along the lines of graduate admissions there. The website to apply, it would be through the NYU website. Again, you can go to nyu.edu, and then you can go through the admissions section, and then there should be an apply part or apply for admission. But again, that won't open up until August 1st, and the fall 2022 section is closed. And I will try to speed through these as much as possible. The graduate link also at nyu.edu. We do offer health courses here as well. We also do have a school of nursing, as well as a pre-health track and a medical school for any student who wants to be either a nurse, a doctor, or a dentist. We do have all of those opportunities available here at NYU. We also have a hospital here as well called NYU Langone, where the NYU Langone Hospital is usually either #1 or #2 in the list of best hospitals in New York City every single year. So, and students who are nursing students or who are students studying to be a doctor or dentist get to actually intern and perform procedures, albeit not invasive procedures like checkups, and you perform like checkups, diagnostics, anything along those lines. You can perform those at the hospitals as well. Let's see, the form does start August 1st. So August 1st is when the application does pop up. For anything graduate school related, I would definitely have you email grad admissions. Their email, I will type it. It is gradadmissions@nyu.edu. But I would tend to email them, or you can Google NYU graduate admissions. Google NYU graduate admissions for more information on grad programs. We do have graduate assistantships available at NYU as well. Again, that would be more with the grad school. The application and financial aid programs, I'm not sure if it applies to graduate programs. I do know that graduate programs do offer financial aid, but I'm not sure if that graduate school process, so I would email them for more information as well. Again, I wouldn't know anything more about the graduate programs, but I would definitely consider contacting graduate admissions. What can you do to increase your chances of getting in? That is another good question. And I would say the one thing that I can say to increase your chances is just to submit the best application that you can submit. So basically, just double check and triple check your application for any errors. Make sure that your letters of recommendation, you really ask people that really know you. Like, you don't want to, I would recommend asking somebody who really knows you over the person who may be more prominent, who has a more like higher position, if you, as you say. So that's something that I would say could increase your chances, is just making sure you submit the best possible application, but also making sure that you have letters of recommendation of people who can speak to the person that you are. Also, do not have a family member or a friend or a family friend submit a letter of recommendation. Please don't do that, because that will decrease your chances. You want somebody who knows you professionally. That is something that you should rely on as well. You can use somebody such as, a former supervisor or a current supervisor. If you are in church and you participate in a church or a mosque or any religious affiliation, having the head of that denomination, such as like a pastor or deacon, or if you're Islamic, like an imam, anything along those lines, you can also use those people as well. That's something to look out for sure. Law at NYU, again, graduate program. Can't speak much to it, but they have information on the website as well. Midwifery degree, I believe we do offer midwifery degrees, if I'm not mistaken. I would check the NYU website just to confirm that for sure. There is no age limit for applying to financial aid, just so you know. So again, anybody can go. We do accept dual degrees here at NYU as well. We accept dual degrees, and we also have the opportunity for students to have to major in 2 programs here at NYU as well. So if you feel like there's 2 programs and you're like, I want to decide between which one or the other, you can decide between, you can have both programs and major in two programs to basically get 2 degrees while being charged for 1 at the same time and still graduating within 4 years as well. The only thing is that one of those 2 degrees has to be from the College of Arts and Sciences. So that's something else to note. Postgraduate application, I believe, also begins in August, but I will contact them for more information. Again, the information for postgraduate law is on the website. GPA requirement, we don't necessarily have a GPA requirement for students. Again, we look at the whole application. So we look at everything from, again, letters of recommendation, coursework, and GPA. What else? The NYU essay, the personal essay. We look at a lot of things from a lot of scopes and a lot of lenses. There's a lot of things there's a lot of factors that go into that goes into an application that has us like not having a minimum GPA. So whatever your GPA is, you can feel free to apply. We've had students accepted from a 4.3 GPA to we've even had like a 2.5 student get accepted, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. So there is no GPA requirement to apply to NYU. We do have scholarships available to our students, which is why, again, please fill out the CSS profile at the bare minimum. For early decision, decisions are usually released sometime between November and February, depending on which early decision you have applied. So it's somewhere in that realm for sure. Again, for the PhD applications, I would email grad admissions because they would know more about that process. For financial aid, again, I would email them about that. Statistics for GRE, I would definitely email grad admissions about that as well. We do offer food technology as a program for undergraduate. It's called Food Studies, if I'm not mistaken. And it was in actually my old NYU school, which is NYU Steinhardt. There's a program called Food Studies as well, where students learn not only how to cook it, but how it's processed, how to grow it, what makes it healthy, everything along the lines. I've actually had a good friend of mine, Jonathan, who studied food studies, and he absolutely loved it and created his own program, but also created a nonprofit organization that helps to give donated food back to the people in his home country of China as well. So something to note. I do want to leave a little bit of time for Ernest, as well as the senior members of SIA-Africa. So I will stop recording and stop the screen share as well. And oh, wait, no.